Gear checks within RPG games are an essential piece of the genre. Every Elden Ring player fondly remembers their first journey into Caelid, be it through an involuntary teleport or misguided navigation. One thing is for certain though.
You are not prepared!
Tower of Adversity is one of the first big hurdles and gear checks that any rover will face early on in their journey. The opponents encountered in this game mode will scale linearly, starting off very manageable for the player with little echoes or character or weapon upgrades, but will soon become insurmountable due to increased health and the damage of enemies. It can get very frustrating. My name is Saint Tontus, and I'm here to cover the essentials to clearing Tower of Adversity, and specifically its stable zone, as soon as possible. I can speak on this matter because, well, I've done it myself. As a quick reminder, I'll be hosting giveaways across the next 4 weeks of release ending on Yinlin's banner. Links in the description below. Already given out about 10 monthly passes with more and more prizes on the schedule. As a quick update for WuWa in general, we're receiving many compensation rewards for some of the optimization issues at launch. We'll be receiving a free 5-star standard unit selector along with 10 additional standard pulls later today, with those pulls already given out. So if you haven't played yet or haven't played since launch, now is the perfect time to start or continue playing the game. As you can see from this footage, performance has improved dramatically. This game mode can be unlocked by reaching Union level 15 and completing the story quest associated with it. It's a very short one involving Sanhua that can be skipped, but why wouldn't you want to hear her voice?
But you are truly exceptional.
Afterwards, the stable zone will be unlocked. There are 12 possible crests or rewards to obtain. One crest is awarded on the floor completion, while the other 2 are from completing the challenges before the timer hits 1 minute and 30 seconds and 2 minutes and 30 seconds. To obtain all the rewards, you have to clear the floor in less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. As you can see, getting the right amount of damage with low-level characters can be very, very difficult. Across these floors, there will be a unique interference effect that gives bonuses to resonators if they meet certain conditions. For this overview, I'll be reviewing the composition and the builds of the team that I used to clear Stable Zone 4. This floor is filled with enemies resistant to Spectro, Electro, and Glacio, making a DPS of either of these 3 elements potentially suboptimal to clearing the floor. The prior floors, on the other hand, contain many enemies that are element neutral, like animals or exiles, making any decently built DPS work fine on these floors. For Zone 4, this is a bit of an issue for free-to-play rover mains early on in release, as the Rocksteady's massive spectral resistance makes hitting that 230 marker very, very hard. My number 1 recommendation for this zone is Jian. While other zones have single boss enemies, every floor in the stable zone consists of 3 or more enemies, some with multiple waves. This makes grouping extremely powerful, as an attack that would normally hit 1 target might actually hit 3, potentially tripling your effective DPS. With an underleveled roster, underleveled equipment, and level 1 skills, grouping of some kind is almost mandatory to get that sub 230 clear. This makes Yang Yang, even an underleveled and undergeared one of the highest value picks this early on. Her AoE is hideously small and may require many resets to land properly, but when it works, oh, it works. She works perfectly fine with a 3-star weapon, Sword of the Voyager. This gives an amazing amount of regeneration both in its substats and skill, and produces incredible uptime on her grouping for a very low cost. I used Dan Jin as my main DPS across these floors. I do not recommend this to other players for a few reasons. First, it's really hard for her to make use of the interference. She will be constantly draining her health to do any damage at all through her resident skill and forte. Even when using her built-in healing through her forte charges, she'll be much lower than the 75% needed to trigger the bonus. Second is that she is absurdly hard to play. Any mistake will pretty much always lead to her death, and with that death, your hopes of clearing the floor in the time limit. Third is that it might just be a skill issue on my end, but her parry timings and iframes feel very inconsistent. Inputs that parried in the past feel like they'll fail under the same conditions. It's a good thing that my mic wasn't on while recording some of this footage. However, if you're willing to put in the time to learn her mechanics and take some risks, she performs very well. To clear floor 4 in a decent amount of time, you'll want echoes. You really only need an upgraded set on your main DPS. An upgraded 5-star Echo from the pre-release Echo event is the optimal pick for one of your slots, as this can have up to 5 substats that can greatly improve your damage. As you can see, my Dan Jin actually only has one Sonata effect that she actually works with, but the raw stats provided by these Echoes is enough to meet the damage threshold. I've used some of my Echo materials to get all of these to level 15. Remember that these will actually drop from overworld chests. You also have different tuners based on the rarity of the Echo. What else are you going to use your blue tuners for? And how else are you going to complete the weekly quest for tuning? Remember that you can always recycle these Echoes into your 5-star Echoes once you reach Union level 30 and are able to get them as more consistent overworld drops. Your support and sub DPS characters, on the other hand, can get away with very little. I used a level 21 Verena with a level 20 weapon. Variation is a fantastic pull from the gacha, but the Rectifier of Voyager is a great 3-star alternative. I also used a full healing set of level 0 green and blue Echoes. You only need the 5-piece bonus because her healing with 0 investment is still pretty good. And the attack bonus granted to the team from that 5-piece effect still works with no investment. This is a fantastic budget move for any person looking to clear this content. As you push higher and higher floors and the base HP of your characters increase with ascension levels, upgrades here to Verena will be needed. I haven't fully learned the nuances of every monster's moveset yet, so having this freedom to tank a hit or two is always helpful. Though Dan Jin will get one shot pretty much 100% of the time, no matter what happens. On the other hand, Yang Yang used a collection of random arrow damage bonuses. As a note, any Echoes here that will boost her energy regeneration rate will serve better, like a full 5-piece set of moonlit clouds. Anyways, that's enough yapping on my end about gearing and Echoes and team comps. Here is some gameplay from my first successful 3-star clear with some commentary on the side. Disclaimer. Starting off this battle, I make sure to skill and ult on Verena, and then immediately skill, ultimate, and then echo on Yang Yang. Then I switch into Dan Jin and do damage. Her ultimate is a great way to ensure that the enemies stay in their spots after the grouping.
Let me be your blade.
As you can see, the enemies frequently get ungrouped, so Yang Yang's ultimate is a great way to ensure that you're still dealing damage to both, if not all 3 of them.
Let's get this over. Eradicate.
I do get hit a couple of times, but thankfully the laser doesn't do too much damage.
Perfuse. Please. Leave it to me. Guide my blade.
The gameplay here is a little bit rough, definitely room for improvement.
mercy.
The ranged enemies in particular are quite important to take out if you're playing Dan Jin, because one piece of chip damage from either of them can end your run completely. After those two ranged enemies are down, it's basically just up to you to ensure that you're able to finish off the last boss. As you can see, I have close to a minute left, but it's still pretty close. That's how much HP the big one has.
Judgment. Let thee be your blade. Let the winds roar. Precipitous. Ha!
I think I should have hit a parry there. And there, but none of it is happening. If I was able to land parries a lot more consistently on this boss, then it would be a lot easier to clear within the time limit. At this point, I think its AI is broken and it's not doing anything. So the rest of the clear is pretty easy, and I'm able to get it with about 7 seconds left. Overall, very hard. I think I was at this for about 3 to 4 hours last night, but at the end of the day, worth it. With that, thank you for staying till the end. Hopefully this overview of the stable zone was helpful as we get further and further into WuWa's launch. This is personally some of the most fun I've ever had in gaming, let alone a gacha game as well. I'll be posting a lot more guides in the future for this kind of content. With that, best of luck on your pulls and progression, rovers. Peace out.